Gorandurai say, Amamaseta, Ashadu Ashate Ashawan vibrations, every bucka. May your mind buckas and souls be old, may your amits be sound. May your buckas be leaven off ground when we keep to the breath, the orth, the mothor, the seon, the soul of raw guides, and keeps you old. Ayan ma Ezra Ella Ise Else I Christ Ore Chaplain Tata Amin Ra. I'm a Truth's Awareness, True Talk, can be a part of the greatest transfer of Ma'el, that's intelligence, Aminology to Unkodu. This is Soundlogic, and with all that being offered to you, being a fool is absolutely your choice. To raise Ray 1829. Go to Google, go to Apple, download the Kagadora app, go to Jesus.com, sign up. Get the iBucket to Omen, get your Mathorian Kagadora poster, and you get access to the erectionary.com. That's where we are right now, folks. We've done a full day, I should say a full ray, working on breaking the code Hurricane Mellissa. We got it. 4 cards just entered. We're going to go through them now, but don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. Make sure you go to Jesus.com, sign up. You got to do this. You got to mean it. If you're concerned, if you're worried, if you're a little shook, like this hasn't happened before, this video is going to recognize and make you realize that a storm is all about storing the Ma entities, hollowing you out, putting you in a can and setting you aside. Stormy. Let's break this down. Let's break this down. I don't consent to draconian state, nor should you hashtag that in your posts. Thought is a spore that spawns intelligence. Denoffungi.org. Don't forget, your mental health is all about your etheric compass. Orientate back to sound. That's what we do at Jesus.com, at Saved by Sound, the Aminology School. We retether you. We get you through the solarization process, the deprogramming, the deconstructing. This is what's necessary, folks. So you can get to calling your calling and stop enforcing these word spells, these optical programming. Got to get back to our senses. Get to the erectionary, because words die your erection. And of course, we're learning how to use Ta'angodu, because we speak motion. All right, we're dealing with the first word, hurricane. The definition: evict negated souls. This is what the code command is for hurricane. Before we get down to the sound acts, we're going to get down to the spelled facts. So let's just look at a hurricane. What does a hurricane look like? Well, it's a form of a storm, right? Lots of wind, lots of water, lots of soil, very little sun. The elements are being moved. What does this hurricane cause? Well, a successful hurricane will cause a lot of damage. It will cause a lot of evicting negated souls. Negated means they've been removed from their say. Most people that experience a hurricane didn't have any say, so they thought. Right? A lot of displacement. So now that we've got the abstracts, let's just see if we can relate the code to what actually is happening, to see if we can see a connection. Because if we can, maybe I can convince you to realize We need to speak sound logic so we can enforce a sound, erect environment. So the definition: hurricane, evicted or expelled, severed, negated soul. The word hurricane is a cipher spell that, when called, aids the draconian construct in removing souls from their soil. By saying the word hurricane, you consent to the intention of the spell. It's very, very important for us to recognize. Okay, when I'm decoding words, I'm using motion to determine what is really being said, and then using ta'angodu to break it down into sound phonical, so to separate you from the optical. Okay? You got to get that book, The Fall of God's Eyes, because I prove in that book that your eyes don't operate like senses. Okay? So we need to be operating by our senses. Our senses require genetic memory, which requires actual experiences in order to become the memory. Okay, if we're operating through our eyes, we need to be programmed for meaning. Okay? Which gives us an expectation. All right? The pronunciation: hurricane. Hurricane. If ra is to be used as a crutch, the cane would be sound that is received by the senses. What is being removed is the spirit, the ba that speaks to ra. Okay? If you look at that word and then you sound it out, you have her, ra, cane. Okay, so we know as a cane as something that aids your motion, your movement, right? So we call that a crutch. Okay, so if ra is to be the crutch, the actual cane, then that crutch would be your senses being able to receive thought. So then it would act as the augmentation that the parasite is making the parasite the body. Okay? Very important that we understand sound so we can recalibrate our brains to our senses, take them away from our eyes so we can realize what we are saying, giving our eyes to our senses so that we can say, not see. Okay, we can say or not see. Okay, see is to have. So that means everything that you are seeing only has the shell, it doesn't have the soul. So that gives you permission or ease to destroy it, to consume it, to manipulate it, to divide it, to piece it. Language is very, very important. We need to move away from language. We need to move into say on. Okay? Say taor. We need to learn how to say our thoughts, to erect or. The algo. The H equals ha, the sound of removing toxins from the mouth, coughing. Equals earn, when or is reduced to ash. The ri equals ra, the soul man. The Bacarabian, which is the Caribbean. The CA equals severed or halved ka. The NE equals negate, opposite, or entity, or entitlement. No say. Okay? To angodu, ed or I baka is the opposite of hurricane. To fix that code, I have released onto this to atmosphere ed or I baka. That is the code that's going to reject hurricane. This code means add or to that maintain the intact soul. Add or that maintains the intact soul. When an ed or baka, it's really an ed ra or baka, sorry. I got to update this card. When an ed ra or I baka add to the comes, it brings intelligence that sustains the soul voice and entitlements on the soil. Okay, so before we get into the Ed Rabaka, because we have a separate card for that, let's take a little look at this imagery that I created for the card, that I want to help you emphasize visually on what a hurricane actually is. Okay, so that word hurricane means eviction. So every time you say hurricane, you're consenting to whatever's happening in the background of this false flag event. Okay? Parasites have no control to do anything. They don't do anything. They take credit for everything. They just cause shit to happen. They cause you to do it. Okay? They're causing the ethers to do things upon itself. Okay? In reaction to what is provoking it. Okay? So we got to see it for what it is. It means eviction, no souls allowed. This is what the parasite wants to do. It wants to mute the environment because souls prevent it from living. Okay, if you're a sound being, then you're not going to play into anything that's going to create a situation where you're going to require an augmentation. That's what an application is. It's something that you apply to yourself so that you can continue on. Okay, so we see a military man holding a sign, no souls allowed. We see a lot of people going off in ships, okay, being hauled off their lands. Okay, this is the true message. Okay, we can't say hurricane at all. Okay, we have to say ed or ed ra or I baka. Okay, so this means to add or to your soul baka. Okay, this is what ed ra or I baka means. This is what you want. This is what you want. We need to convert the calling. Okay, because that's what things are named, so you can call it that. And the name means negate me. So whatever you're calling, you're consenting for it to remove your sound, remove your soul. Okay, if you are a soul, then these parasites can't face you because you're sound. Okay, what is dead cannot live where what is sound. Okay, or it wouldn't be dead because what is sound is going to make the sound for it. This is what they practice when not only they classify you as a dead corporation, when you operate a business, they're calling it an entity, something that actually is you, and you are the slave to that corporation, the parasite that's operating the dead body. Okay, so that's the word hurricane. All right. So we don't want hurricane. We want Ed, Ra, or I, Baka. All right. So now we're going to go and we're going to decode the word Mellissa. We're going to go to Erectionary, which we are on right now. We're going to type in this word. Okay. We're going to click it. Boom. We got another card. Okay, we got another card. All right, the word Mellissa. Soul elements without sense. This is what the code to Mellissa means. So when they name, why do you think in your mind are they naming hurricanes, they're naming storms, they're naming all of these things, and they want you to call it that. And they put all the media, everybody all over the world to talk about it. Why do you think that is? Well, some of you are absolutely right. Okay, it's for you to bring it into being. Okay, you got to see and hear how I said that. Okay, they name things so you can call it to bring it into a being. Okay, you could bring it into a being so you are that being that it becomes. Okay, and when you have a whole bunch of people agreeing on the same thing, it creates an egregor, a real being. Okay, something that can think because you're thinking. Something that's looking for you because you're calling it. So wherever you are, it's going to come. Because it wants to go home. If you watch everything in nature, it always wants to be with itself. Okay, all the animals want to be with their kind. Everything wants to become a bunch, become what we call a unit. Okay, it wants to become a sum, a say Okay, that's what they come together. They say so that means origin of motion. Okay, so when they give us something, they know that we are so they want to originate the motion through a thought that is planted like a seed in soil. Okay, so we got this is another code that we are gonna stop uttering. We have a new name. Okay, we have a new name to call Mellissa. Okay, so let's decode Mellissa. Soul elements without sense. Mellissa, souls without voice. The cipher for the word Mellissa calls for a state where the souls are classified as deaf, blind, and dumb. Pronunciation. Ma-lis-ah. Mother Nature severed the soul from breath. This is what the code means in the cipher. Okay? Ma-lis-ah. Okay? Mother Nature severed the souls from breath. The name Mellissa is associated to the code mother. That means mo the or. Okay? LIS is severed from say. And ah is breath. Okay, your etheric tongue has been removed, making your physical tongue useless. And that's the status of being a soul. The algo. M equals ma is mothor, the process of evolution. EL equals element. The L is flat, non-erect sound. The L sound is flat, Mellissa. La. It's not L. It's not ma el isa. Right? It's not even Mellissa. It's not even that. You have to really struggle to make that sound. It's a flat L, so that means there's no sound in it. That means there's no soul. So that tells you what comes after that is flat. Okay? the ta'angodu. Mellissa equals soul element, or ma'elise. Ma'elise. Ma'elise is the counter for Mellissa. Okay, this is a soul element with voice. The baka in the state of Mellissa, the Garden of Eden, represents the state of stewardship, where all things sustain the erection of all things under Ra. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to look at some imagery for Mellissa. Okay, so I want you to look at that for a second. So what do you see in that code? So like I said, Mellissa, okay, that's like saying Mother Nature is severing you from your voice. It's like the code mother means mow the ore. This gives consent for especially the ones that call themselves women, females. You got to get that book, The Fall of God's Mother. Okay, or all fall under enforcing this code, Mellissa. Okay, so you got to see Mellissa on the surface. It's ma, and then you have severed breath. Right? Let's go back to this for a second. Right? So you have ma, and then you have the element, and then you have lis, and then you have say. So that's the ma element, okay, that severs your say. So you have a safety shelter there. And then you have the words, if you can sense, you can enter. Okay, then you have a clown at the door. Okay, big sign, you notice? But the people have lost their sense. They look like zombies. They're stripped. They don't have any senses, so no hair on your head, meaning that's a symbol of no senses. Okay, you have no connection to Ra, nothing to communicate, no antenna. Okay? And so even though the door is wide open and it's right there in the middle of the storm, they have no sense, so they can't enter. Okay, so this is why we have to change the code to Ma El I Se. Ma. Okay, Ma El I Se Ra. Okay, Ma El I Se Ra. So that's the Ma element that gives you the say, gives you your voice under Ra. So Mellissa means, remove, sever your say, remove you from your senses. The Ma element, okay, that severs your say, severs your soul from say. Okay, and I shouldn't even say Ma element because it's flat. Okay, but it's a consensual thing. Okay, so this is why they want you to know that mother is like source. Okay, because you're dealing with a storm. And they want you to think Mother Nature did it, but at the same time, they want you to think that they're engineering it. So what you're saying is calling and navigating what you want to call Mother Nature. Okay? But in your brain, you're believing that the Draconians are the one that's navigating it. So you're fully, completely in agreement with what they're doing because they're speaking double speak and you're playing to both sides. You're playing to what actually is happening and you're playing to what they want you to make happen. All right? So let's go download the counterparts into our brains. We are now going to look up Ed. Or sorry. Give me a second here. I get into a dream state when I do this shit, and so it's like when I come out of my dream, if I didn't write the stuff down, I would totally forget it. That's why I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, and I just scribble shit down, because when I get these thoughts, they literally come channeled in. When I create all of these things, I have to channel it in. It's not an instant process. The process is instant, but to come up with the product is not. It's a long process. So Edra or I Baka. Okay, so this is what counters hurricane. Edra or I Baka. Okay, it means resurrection of the Baka Ra Ba'en. Okay, in English, the counterpart to Baka Ra Ba'en is, Caribbean. Okay, so the Edra or I Baka equals add or, which is intelligence, to maintain the intact soul. When an Edra or I Baka comes, it brings elements to remove viruses and restores genetic memory for critical thinking that sustains the soul voice and entitlements on soil. Okay, it's extremely important. We come from a hurricane that's to evict you from your soil, and we're going to an Ed Ra or I Baka. Okay, that's going to add Ra to you, so that means sound, ability to radiate. So now you're a self-governing soul. Okay, and or are the elements going to your I, which is your soul, that completes your Ba Ka, that replaces your Ba, adds it to your Ka. Now you're a soul body, okay, which is a whole intact being called a Baka, because your Ba and your Ka are united. Okay, the pronunciation Ed Ra or I Baka is a calling that brings minerals and gas elements that elevate the soul El Baka to evolve its being to overcome corrupted soul Ra Amstem. That's the solar system. The Seta Orma is a sonic event that removes corrupted codes. The Edra or I Baka is storm to the parasites. Okay, so I didn't complete the storm card yet to go with this. I will speak to it. Basically, like I said in the beginning, I hinted to it. A storm means stormy. Okay, this is literally what storm means, the code. Okay, so when you say a storm is coming, this means that you're consenting to be hollowed out. So that means removed from your source, okay, which is your soil, okay, which gives your experiences genetic memory, okay, which gives your genetics memory. The experiences create your genetic memory, okay, and you are set aside. Okay, so just like the hurricane, okay, you're displaced. Okay, you're put in a Mellissa. Okay, you're put in a state where, you can't find yourself. You have no senses. Okay, this is what a storm is. When you say Seta or Ma, well, then you're basically flipping that. Okay, so say means to speak. Ta to your brain. This is to your thoughts. Or and Ma. So this means source. Okay, the maker. Okay, the creator, which you want to say creator. Okay, I say evolvor and erector. Okay, but source, which you want to call God. That is the Seta or Ma. Just like Seta on, Seta Enra. It's all the same shit. Okay, it is what speaks to thought. This is the ether itself. This is what you call space, but it is really called the or. Okay, space, once again, means sever, say parasite, sever. That's what space means. Okay, so you as a parasite are said to sever. Okay, this is what happens in a space, is severance. Okay, so this is why we need Ta'ango. We need what I am doing. Okay, and this is just facts. Okay, I'm creating what you want to call beings. If the devil was me, you would say I'm creating demons. Okay, but instead it's the other way around. Okay, this is omenology. This is what I'm trying to impart to you. Okay, so the omenology is ed equals to add intelligence to the ka that allows it to erect and sustain or. Ra is radiance, the broadcaster of thought. Or equals the ether that keeps all sound things. I is the soul man, the upright stroke is man, the dot above is Ra. Ba, what facilitates electrical charge, the sensory system. And Ka is the kit that operates the Ba, the flesh body. Okay, and so the English counterpart to the Ta'angodu. Okay, I don't have, when I get some more money, I'm going to finish the programming and I'll be able to split databases. So I'll have a database specifically for Ta'angodu words and a database for the English words. Right now, they're both mixed. Okay, but I only have the word format. So instead of this being English, it says Ta'angodu, but it's an English word, hurricane. So that's the opposite. Ta'angodu is always the correct code or correct saying for the English word. Okay, and the English is always the corrupt sound. Okay, so now let's move to the last one, which is ma el I say ra. Okay, let's go to this. Ma el I say ra. Here we go. Ma el I say ra. Oh, before we do that, let's go to the big image of yeah. Is that what it was? Sorry. Okay, Ma Li Ra. We went to Hurricane last time, right? Yeah, this was it. Edra or Ibaka. So let's look at the Edra Ibaka imagery. Okay, so what you see with the Edra or Ibaka, remember they're bringing elements. Okay, that is to make you erect, to stand up. This is what they say when a rebellion or make a stand, a reba elon. Okay, so that means you're being reconnected to the ba element that keeps you on. Okay, which is life. Okay, and so when you're having an or ra I baka or ra I or ed ra I baka, okay, which means add ra to the I baka. Okay, this is what's happening. Okay, so on an energetic level, you're seeing dragons. You're seeing beings on top of the dragons. You're seeing a cage representing with bats in it. It's got a alligator in it. Okay, and it has a bat and a snake in it as well. Okay, there's supposed to be a snake, alligator, and a bat in there. Okay, it says Draco goes here. Okay, so these things are coming to clean up the parasites. Just like when you get sick, there's cells in your body. There's a system that comes and attacks those sick cells. Okay, and it tries to remove them from your body. This is the same thing that's happening. Okay, but by calling it hurricane and so on and so forth, these things happen to us. Remember, this would be happening without being provoked. Okay? But because these draconians are doing behaviors like, for instance, the EMF radiation is causing protons. So in order to balance the protons or to correct and keep the movement, the electrons need to, and the protons need to have their proper ratio. Okay, so this means that the system that you call Mother Nature, Ba'am, has to send more electrons. This is what's happening with your corona mass ejections and all these types of things. Okay, this is helping the electron production, to combat and counter the technology, the microwave energy, and all these EMF radiations that are producing the free radical protons. Okay? So in order to battle free radical protons, you need, like what you would say, free radical or Ra-Ed Ka-Els, okay? Which is the counter to the hurricane. All right, so you see orbs. Okay, this is what the people are receiving, energy. Okay, you see the red Ra. Okay, this is the initiator of everything. Once this is seen in the sky, they can't play God anymore. Okay, they can't play God anymore. I'm trying to emphasize this. It's up to us to take the position of Ra. Okay, no more is nobody can stand for Ra, especially while I'm here. Okay, you understand? This is our duty. It's our duty. Okay, the Draconians are not going to do it. Okay, if they do it, they're going to have full control of it, and they can't. Not right now. Understand? Just like I am bringing evolution, this evolves them too, because they have to counter what I'm doing. And when they counter what I'm doing, they're working off of what I created. Okay, so this is why you guys can't allow this shit to go to waste, let alone be used against us. Okay, this is very powerful stuff that I am doing. Okay, very, very, very powerful on every level. Okay, so let's go to the last one now. Okay, sorry about this. Ma Li Se Ra. All right, Ma Li Se Ra. Okay, this is the element that erects soundness. Okay, this replaces the word Mother Nature. Okay, this is the counter to Mellissa. This is the counter to Mother. This is the counter to Hurricane Mellissa. We want to say Ma Li Se Ra is coming. Okay? It means the element that erects soundness. The definition, Ma Li Se Ra equals soul elements with voice. The Baka is in the state of Ma Li Se Ra. The Garden of Eden represents the state of stewardship where all things sustain the erection of all things under Ra. Ma Li Se Ra. That's the command. The pronunciation, Ma Li Se Ra. The Mothor is the element that sustains the soul man voice under Ra. When a soul remains tethered to Ra, radiance is not obstructed. The environment maintain sound erection. Okay, so very simple. When the clouds are clear, radiance can come down. Everything is sound all around. Okay, when it's blocked, everything is obstructed. Movement begins to halt. Okay? The Aminalgo, Ma equals Mothor, L equals element, I equals soul, man, upright, stroke is the being, the thought is Ra. Okay? S-A equals say, to think and speak life. R-A equals radiance, to broadcast intelligence. Okay? And the English is Mellissa. Okay, the soul without voice. The cipher for the word Mellissa calls for a state where the souls are classified as deaf, blind, and dumb. Okay, so we got to go from Mellissa to Ma Li Se Ra. Let's take a quick look at this. Next, here we go. This is Ma Li Se Ra. Okay, so what do you see? Okay, you see what is a depiction of Mother Nature. Okay, this is Ma Li Se Ra. Sorry. Okay, you see a crown. You see the afro. This represents Ra. Okay, you see everything that you see here is representing Ra. But what do you see her bringing? Okay, so instead of bringing destruction and removing you from your source and from sound, which Hurricane Mellissa is all about, now you can be getting resurrection your soul power and your soul voice, but she's bringing loudspeakers and crowns. And so the crowns represent self-autonomy, okay? And the speaker represents your voice, okay? So, so instead of Hurricane Mellissa, okay, we need to be having Ed or I Baka Ma Eli Se Ra. Okay? Ed Ra or I Baka Ma Eli Se Ra. Ed or I Baka Ma Eli Se Ra. Ed Ra or I Baka Ma Eli Se Ra. Ed Ra or I Baka Ma Eli Se Ra. Ed Ra or I Baka Ma Eli Se Ra. Ed Ra or I Baka Ma Eli Se Ra. Ed Ra or I Baka Ma Eli Se Ra. This is what we want. This is the code. Okay, this is the code that we want to say to give ourselves the best chance to turn the calling around. Okay, nobody's going to do this. I cannot do this on my own outside of what I am producing. Okay, in terms of the calling, it needs your voice. Okay, there's nothing else that we can do if we're not doing what I'm doing. Anything else you're doing is fruitless if you're not doing what I'm doing. And that's putting yourself in the status of a soul. You have to prove this to the ethers. You can't prove this to the draconian construct. Anything that they need to permit, they control. Okay, so everything that you need to be doing is what they can't control. Okay, they have all sorts of laws for them to control your behaviors, but they don't have any laws for you to practice sound logic yet. Okay? You understand, people. Okay, and practicing sound logic is sustaining yourself. Okay, and so this is why you have the big contrast, especially in a place like Jamaica where it's the home of Ra, the Ra seeds. It's the home of Baal. This is why they tell you it's the Caribbean, because it's really the Baka Ra Ba'i Ba'ens. Okay, so this is the peoples with the most sound, just like they came with the technology called religion, and the Bible in Jamaica was the hallmark of the world, having the most churches per capita. Now it looks like, it's going to be the most bots, the most biobots, the most smart cities per capita. Okay, you got to see what's happening here. All that oil drilling and everything represents the stake in the red dragon. That red dragon is Ra, people. That old red dragon is Ra, that red sun in the sky that is being blocked. Okay, that when it shows up, it looks like somebody painted it into the sky. That's how red it is. Okay, it don't even look real. Okay, this is Ma Eli Se Ra. Okay? Now you guys got to really, really, really learn to support for everything that I'm doing with how little I have. Okay? Outdated computers, everything. Okay? I'm not even getting into can't pay bills and all this types of stuff, people. Okay, what is going on? Wake yourselves up, snap out of it. Get out of your ego. Okay, get out of your ego. Not one of you guys, you're all listening to your spirits that want you to believe that you're the one. You're a link. Okay, at best, if you choose to be with me, you're a link. Okay, you're a step on that ladder. Okay, that needs to elevate all of us. Okay, but what I'm doing, I'm anointed to do. Okay, I'm anointed to do, and everything that you guys believing means that you're anointed to help me. Okay, you're anointed to help me. Okay, it doesn't matter who you think is coming here. They're going to be exact same position that I'm in. Okay, can't be heard. All technology and everything used, to maintain this block and try to starve out and everything. Okay, like I said, they're in a fucked up position because I'm the evolutionary. I'm the one bringing in all the codes. Okay, I'm the one bringing in all the codes. Okay, so they're, the Draconians are using me to see who's able to break free of their shackles and reconnect to sound and everything else. Okay, so get to Jesus.com and sign up and get connected and get registered, okay, with Ra. Okay? Start getting your codes, getting your protection, everything that you're doing, every word that you're uttering. You're trying to fight this thing with the enemy's weapons. Okay, you're trying to walk the enemy's dog and expecting not to get bit. Expecting that dog not to turn around on that leash and grab you by your throat and put you on the ground and finish you off. Okay? We want Ed Ra Orai Baka Ma El I Say Ra. Yeah, that's what we want. We don't want Hurricane Mellissa. Okay, we want Ed Ra Orai Baka Ma El I Say Ra. Okay, please support. Let's go. Send this out. Wild, everybody. Use your power for people got to hear this. Give people a choice. Let people listen to this and give people a choice. Don't be part of it. Okay, you can't send this, you can't like it, then you're a part of the destruction. You're a part of it. This is what you guys got to start living with now. You're not helping and supporting, you're a part of it.